Welcome to Cowgirl Talk, where we empower you to live authentically through real food, real talk, and real life. Sisters brought together by our love of cows. We're your host, Emily, a dairy lover and personal trainer living in Florida.
And Becca, a corporate cowgirl holding down the family fort in Pennsylvania. Let's go, cowgirls!
Hello, and welcome back to Cowgirl Talk. In today's episode, as we are really officially into spring, we're a little bit into April, we want to talk about spring cleaning, but doing it in a couple different ways. Really overall, spring cleaning your life, decluttering, kind of the typical spring cleaning of maybe deep cleaning your house, your apartment, but then also evaluating your habits, your routines, and really just spring cleaning everything to make you feel kind of refreshed and renewed heading into these hopefully warmer months wherever you are. And also in today's episode, we have Becca back. And so last week was so fun to talk with Erica, but we're excited to have Becca, our co-host, back. Hello, Becca.
Hi, Emily. Yeah, that was a great episode last week. I've been busy, which is the story of everybody's life, but I appreciate Emmy giving me the flexibility to just be in the moment the last few weeks.
Yeah, and I know you say, okay, I'm busy. Everyone's busy, right? But you really are really busy right now. And I know, again, it's not a contest of who's more busy. And I know we're not trying to all wear it as a badge of honor, but you really are just within a very busy season of your life. As you know, you're getting married pretty soon. I mean, by the time this airs, it'll be April 8th, and that'll be right about a month from your wedding.
I know, it's crazy. And with that and a new job and like just spring cleaning, which this is a great episode for us because we have so much shit, wonderful shit, but shit in our apartment that needs stickered and organized and put somewhere else. And it's crazy town over here.
Yeah. So this is a great episode to kind of reflect on, okay, how do we need to spring clean, but also just evaluate what we're doing or what we could do better. Because we're talking about, oh, what should we talk about this week? And Becca mentioned spring cleaning. And I was like, well, I don't know if I really do a true deep spring cleaning. I know. So I know we're going to dive in.
It's so sad. There is nothing. Well, maybe this is a me thing, but man, when you have finished that deep clean, it's probably like a 2-day thing, or well, we have an apartment, so it might be longer for other people.
Yeah.
And then you light that favorite candle.
Ooh.
And it's a mix of cleaning fumes and the candle. It's just like,
I love the candles.
So
like
nice.
That, the sign that, okay, we're done. Now we can really just enjoy this. But that's why I'm excited to talk about all these things, because maybe it'll inspire me. I mean, we clean, of course. I don't want someone to listen and think, oh, you're just dirty. No.
She's dirty.
but and this maybe isn't a good excuse, but we've just been, since I moved south, and even since I've been in Florida, we've been in 4 different spots, and everything's been a newer spot. Like literally the first person in this house or apartment or townhouse that we've moved into. So I feel like we've never really had a chance to build a ton of clutter and build a ton of things. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to kind of dive into everything and get inspired by you, because I know you're a little more type A than I am. So we'll both probably have a little bit of a different take on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love it. I can't wait to give you cleaning tips. This is where I get to play big sister of like, okay, here's what you do, XYZ.
Yes, yeah, and hopefully we'll see if I implement the tips. But so we can, get into all these amazing tips that I'm so excited to hear. And I feel like this is such a millennial episode, but aside from that, let's dive into our highs and lows of the week. So since you are back, let's allow you to go into your highs and lows first.
Yeah, so the reason why I wasn't here this week, or I'm here this week.
Whenever,
sorry.
At what point when you weren't here?
Still working on decluttering my mind. But last week when I wasn't here and Emmy had a fabulous guest, I was just, so the week before we recorded and then the week that it aired, we had a really great work meeting the week before when we recorded, which was a partial high. Got to meet a lot of people and farmers and everyone that I work with. And it just like reinstated some value and purpose into what I'm doing. And it felt I left feeling jazzed and wanting to sell some milk.
Hell yeah. We need that reminder every now and then, right?
And then the following weekend, it was my bridal shower. And so
Yes.
that was a big deal. It was a massive weekend. So after a big week at work, then mom and then Emmy and our other sister Erin and my gram and my Aunt Kathy and my
Mhm.
mother-in-law to be and my friends just really put on something fabulous and wonderful. And a lot of people traveled in for it, which is really nice. And I know that's a big deal because it takes time, it's expensive, and it's just, you got a million things going on, all of you. So it was like so nerve wracking going in, which is not, I'm not like a nervous person and I don't mind being the center of attention, but that was a different, that
I
was
know
a
you
different
texted
kind
Aaron
of,
and I with that. And I
yeah,
was so surprised that
I was
that
so
you were like,
nervous.
I'm nervous right now. Is this normal?
Yeah, I was like excited, but I was nervous because I think I understood the amount of work and that people put into it, the time that they sacrifice, the money they spend to be here, and I'm like, oh, what if I suck tomorrow? I don't know. What if I'm not? What
How
if
do you
I'm
suck
not?
at your own bridal shower?
What if I'm not worth it?
What if people realize, we're just not going to come to the wedding anymore because this was lame? You're like, no one's going to show up at all.
Oh. And then I tried on my dress and it was a little booby, but
Yeah.
it ended up like once I had my hair done and my earrings in and my shoes, like it all looked how I wanted it to look.
And it looks great.
It just didn't look that deep of a V cut on Rent the Runway's website. So I was like, oh, this is a little
Hmm.
surprising.
Yeah.
Um but no, it was an amazing weekend and everyone just seemed like so happy. And even though I didn't get to spend a lot of time with each person, everyone just seemed to be having a good time, which made me really happy. Got some
Hmm.
great gifts and then some fun gifts. I'll just leave it at that. Some fun to open in front of other people gifts.
Some like snazzy gifts, some sexy gifts from family, including our gram.
It's a tradition.
Yes. And it's a fun
um,
one.
and then because everyone was home, we got to have a family photo shoot
Yeah.
on Sunday, and our one cousin Bryce came the whole way home from New York City, and we haven't seen him in years. You know, he's in
Hmm.
medical school. He's going to be a general surgeon. Like he's out being
Cool.
a lot smarter than the rest of us. And
Yeah.
so it's not often that we have every single person home, like literally every
Hmm.
single person and spouses. And
Yeah.
so those photos are going to be so good. I can't wait. I haven't gotten a preview yet. I need to text Haley and be like, I'm dying. Send me
I'm
these photos.
Yeah, I'm so impatient because I know it takes time to edit photos and go through all of them. But I was thinking this
Yeah,
week of I really want to see these. I just want to see one little preview
I
because
know.
it
I
is hard to
know.
get, I know anyone listening, it's hard to get everyone together or any group of people together for anything. I mean, like you said, everyone's leading a million different lives, but I think that is one
Hmm.
of the coolest parts about getting married. And one of the most almost overwhelming in a good ways, kind of like you said, is realizing that wow, I really have this many people in my life that are
Hmm.
willing to travel and to celebrate us. And it just makes you want to explode with love and happiness and just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
I know. I know.
You're
I
reflecting
just
on it
can't wait.
now. Don't cry.
I know.
Like, wow, I'm so awesome. Everyone loves me.
uh, oh my
Uh,
God. Too many people love me. I can't handle it.
But yeah, that is
Uh,
really honestly one of my favorite parts about getting married. It's just you can't get many people together like that for a lot of reasons,
no.
and that's one of them. And it's just so amazing.
Yeah. And the Monday, Tuesday after that, I crashed so hard, which
Yep,
actually is similar to my low now, which is like, I literally could not think of a good low. I know that's not,
you're just
but
your
I'm like,
brain's just tired. It's like everything's a low.
I was thinking about last night, okay, what's my low going to be? As I was watching the women's Final Four March
Mm-hmm.
Madness game, I'm like, I'm going to be tired tomorrow and this is going to
Yep,
suck. So I stayed up late to watch a sporting event, which I have not done in a long time.
I
I'm just
know.
not that kind of girl. I'm like, bed. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I stayed up and watched the Yukon versus Iowa game, and it was so good. Emmy and I were just talking about some of the controversy online this morning about some of the stuff, but I So it's a low that was kind of like a high, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to play basketball. So I like woke up this morning ready to go shoot some hoops.
Heck yeah.
I was like, I miss high school basketball so bad. And
Same.
some of the moments they had, I was like, oh, that reminded me of Olivia, or that reminded me of this person, like people we used to play with. And it was
Yep.
just, I mean, the game was, there were some really bad moments, like both of the teams, like, girls,
Mm-hmm.
what you doing? And then there was me, like, if I literally shot a ball, I'd probably airball it right now. But
I know. I
um,
haven't done that in a long time.
it's just crazy. Girls like Angel Reese and Paige Becker and Caitlin Clark, who I think I called her the wrong name on a previous podcast. So if she ever listens,
I don't remember
sorry.
that. Oh yeah, sorry,
I
Caitlin.
I
Hey.
remember I mixed her up with someone else. But anyways, they're literally making history, and like the tickets and stadiums were sold out. The ticket prices are crazy. It's
I
just
know.
women's basketball has been waiting for this moment, and it's just really cool.
I know. I just got goosebumps. Wow, literally. That is,
Yeah.
I don't want to call it cheesy because it is so, so awesome, but it's amazing because I know anyone who plays any sport, but especially professional, collegiate level, they put in so much work. And so finally be
Mm-hmm.
able to get recognition for it, but then just lead by example for that younger generation because, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we grew up playing basketball and I haven't played it in quite some time and I love it, but it's not something even I really watch on TV, men or women. And so it's
Yeah.
really cool to, like you said, just see this group of women come through and really bring some pizzazz to it, really bring some style
Yeah.
to it, and bring an audience to it. So I think it's so
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, it was like a low that actually this is really a big high for everyone in sports and
Yeah.
just for women.
Yeah. So I'm tired. Probably not as tired as they are. But
Yeah,
anyways,
let's.
thanks for going down that rabbit hole. I was all pumped up after I watched it last night. So let's before I keep just going down the women's basketball rabbit hole that I fell into last night, tell me about your highs and lows, Emmy.
Okay, well, my highs are more, I don't know, aesthetic, I guess, and it feels so lame compared to women changing the sports or changing the sports world. But I got my hair done, woohoo! Um,
Woohoo!
but I got it done this past Thursday, and there it was a random spot that opened up because I totally forgot I didn't have a hair appointment scheduled, and so I was gonna get it done in May because that was the earliest she had, like right before the wedding. But then she had an opening, and I was like, hell yeah, book me in. And so I got a little bit shorter, and a little bit lighter, I guess, than where my brown was, but it's still darker than my natural hair. But I am just now that my hair is short, it feels long so much easier. Like it was close to my shoulders. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I need to get this cut right now. Yeah.
Yeah, you're in your. I love saying this. Your assassin era, but
Yes.
it's becoming the norm, which is interesting because you had such long blonde hair before that. I was like, oh, this will definitely be in. Like, I'll remember this, but I don't really remember it at this point.
I know it's just majority of my life, but no, I'm definitely digging it, and I agree. I feel like every kind of assassin, cool girl in books is always described with a short, dark bob, and I'm maybe not that cool, but it makes me feel cool at least. And aside from that, today, as we're recording, it's Ruben's birthday. He's turned,
Woohoo!
yeah, turns 28. 'Cause, yeah, he's a year
Oh
younger
my
than me, and
god,
so I
you guys
know
are
we're.
so little.
Oh, I love when anyone says that. It's like, okay, we're literally a few years apart. It's not that dramatic. I mean, we're still in our 20s, but the world isn't that different for us to you.
The world is your oyster.
Yes, yes, plenty to exploit. Yeah, so we went golfing yesterday and I made him some brownies last night, and I think we're going to have them maybe for breakfast this morning. So we're really living large over here.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. What else are you gonna do for his birthday?
Well, so we're going to a wedding today, and so that's like a fun way to celebrate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because we're going to the wedding today, that's where yesterday we just spent all day golfing pretty much. We went to a really nice course that's about an hour away, Juliet Falls. And then, yeah, I made the brownies last night. I got him a really cool new golf pullover thing.
Ooh.
Joe would appreciate it. It's a foot
What?
joy. It's,
Oh my God. He would.
yeah, yeah.
He
And it
would.
was actually inspired by Joe because Joe has a really cool golf pullover that Ruben wore one time, and Ruben
Oh, he almost didn't
Probably.
give it back.
Yes. And so everyone's like, I need my own. And so we got Ruben his own, so he won't steal Joe's stuff.
Yeah, Joe was like, "Hey man, when are you gonna give that back?" Ruben was
Never,
just
bro.
trying to
Go
like
away.
leave with it.
Yeah. So it
Oh.
was a fun day for his birthday. And I even got a fancy little candle to put in the brownies. And I've realized
Mm.
I need to get better baking. The brownies are good, but baking, I need to figure out a lot with that.
Baking's hard because
Yeah.
cooking you can like be creative, or
Mm-hmm.
you can take a recipe as a suggestion,
Yes.
right?
That's like a
As
very
long
good point.
as long as you're cooking meat to its temperature,
Mm-hmm.
you're fine.
Really, though.
Baking is like precise. You can maybe have some fun with it, like put in some extra type of chip like caramel with
Mm-hmm.
your chocolate, but if you put in soda and baking soda instead of powder, or powder instead of baking soda, like you've ruined the whole thing.
Yeah. And I mean, once it's in the oven, it's in the oven. And
You're done.
you can't really change much about it. But luckily, I mean, they did turn out, and I did put some cookies and cream, the Hershey bars, in it. So I did,
Mm.
spice it up a little bit, and it was very good. But with my high, my low is I got burned as heck during golf yesterday. Really, just my arms and my chest area, which
Mm.
I don't know. I guess I've just lived in Florida so long. I just don't even think like, oh, I'm gonna get sunburned because we were in a golf cart, but my
Yeah.
arms got nice and tan. And usually I wouldn't care about tan lines because whatever, they'll fade. But I want to wear a sleeveless, spaghetti striped dress for the wedding today. So I hope I don't look ridiculous. I'm gonna look like I have a true farmer's tan for the wedding. But what do you
Well,
do?
did
I
you
guess.
did you do self tanner?
Yes, I did do some self tanner last night, but I don't know if it's like we already have a pretty nice complexion that holds a tan pretty well, so I just don't know if like the tan. I mean, it kind of looks like it helped it fade, but you can still see it a little bit. So I might do it again this morning because it honestly did not turn out as dark as I thought it would.
Yeah. Did you have Ruben help with like your back, or did you
Oh
do it
yeah, I
yourself?
was giving him super specific instructions. He was like, "This is ridiculous," and I was like, "Go up and down, get in the crevices. Do you see that streak? Move it." And I was like, "I'm not. You need to do this right." And I don't even know if I was really doing it right elsewhere because I'm not much of a self tanner. But we got it done, and I think I'm just smelling myself for anyone watching this because when you self tan, you have that smell. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where I'm like, do I do it again today, or do I just own it so I don't kind of have that that tanning smell?
Yeah. If you do it this morning and you shower later, it'll be fine.
Yeah. We'll see. Just trying to be a tan golden goddess. We'll make it. But really not that much of a low. It's me being dramatic. Like you said, really, there's still a lot of good things going on. So I couldn't think of anything
Yeah.
too dramatic. But so we can stop talking about ourselves, which I know we'll continue doing so. Let's dive into the episode and really talk about spring cleaning and kind of what our versions of spring cleaning look like. And how we kind of reevaluate to declutter our lives, our minds, and our habits. And I feel like you should lead the charge on this as we said at kind of the beginning, for actual spring cleaning. I feel like that's something you take a little more seriously than I do.
So, um, what I like about spring cleaning is that it is a good time of year to just like reset and just go through all the crap that you've
Yeah.
accumulated. And what I like to do is this will get very tactical, but
Type A.
is that you've got to break it down into like sections, in my opinion, because when I don't break things down, I'm like a squirrel on crack. Because
It's so easy to do
you're
everything.
halfway through going through your bathroom like vanity, and then you're like, oh wait, but I could get rid of these coffee mugs, and then I'm to the kitchen, and then you just like have stuff everywhere. So I like to, I mean, honestly, just especially now, it's like I'll just put on my calendar on a random Thursday night bathroom, like bathroom
Mm-hmm.
cleaning or something. So you've just got to organize everything. And I just, so for example, in the bathroom, I take everything out of the vanity and just, that's a lot of that stuff isn't stuff you can donate. So I'll just
Yeah.
either recycle or throw away a lot of stuff that I know I have not used in the last year. I have a rule. If I haven't used it in the last year, I do not need it. Like,
Yep,
I do
exactly.
not need it. I'm never going to use it. And guess what? If I want it for some reason again, I'll buy it again, but I'll buy it in a smaller size,
Yeah.
right? So it's just taking, scheduling out every section of your house and decluttering it and throwing things away. So I think breaking it up makes it less intimidating.
That's true.
Um, and then I think another fun trick I like, which someone taught me, is that throughout the year, like for maybe men too, but especially women, at least the women I know, we have so many clothes and shoes and we don't even
Yes.
realize it. Like, we just
Yeah.
do not realize, because that's kind of like what we like to buy. At least me, that's what I like to buy. I'll just speak for
It's
myself.
fun.
Um, but now anytime I buy something, with the exception of wedding stuff, like I have not
Yeah,
followed this rule for wedding stuff, but if I buy something outside of that, I have to donate something out of my closet.
I like that.
So it's like, if I get a white sweater, do I have another white sweater that I could retire? Right? So if I buy something, I donate something. Um and I haven't tried this yet, but I'm going to try it this year. Is that someone said, everything, get as much as you can on a hanger and flip them like the opposite way. So if you hang things like this, like hang it up like this, and then you flip it to the normal hanger direction if you wear it. And then at the end of the year,
Oh.
if you haven't worn it, out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Because I was like, oh,
Wow.
because one of my resolutions this year was only buy clothes and shoes that are closet staples.
Yep.
Don't buy special occasion things anymore that you won't wear more than once, or more, even more than like 2 or 3 times, because
Yeah.
I can just rent that stuff.
Yes.
So I'm going to do that this year, because there's just a lot of stuff I've bought that's like, it was cool and it was cute and it was trendy. And I'm like, I'm never going to wear this again. So from like a just a stuff perspective, um, I'm gonna do the bathroom this weekend and then probably close next weekend, and just like each weekend or maybe one night I'm gonna do our coffee cups and
Mm-hmm.
our freaking like water bottles one day. And then
Oh, I should do that. I have way too many water bottles.
I know, it's just insane. And it's like, okay, this could have a better home than what I'm giving it, which is a dusty corner. And
Mm-hmm.
so once I get through all of that and I feel like it's like a weight has been lifted, then I literally schedule out deep cleans. So that would be, okay, spring cleaning, I'm going to wash the baseboards, which sounds ridiculous,
Oh
but they get,
wow. Yeah, see, I've
yeah,
never done something like that
they're
in my life.
they're so gross.
Oh, I
So I know
know they
that,
probably are.
especially with Phoebe, like her food bowl, and so there's just like areas that really need washed. So
Mm-hmm.
baseboards, or like a deep dusting, or a carpet clean, like that kind of stuff. I like to give things a day. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I declutter my mind, I take it out of my mind and put it on the calendar. So I start with throwing shit away or donating it if possible, and then I clean.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like that. I
that's what
already
I do.
feel inspired because I feel like there's a few new ideas in there, but first, I think it's very smart that you kind of spread it out because, well, and everyone's different. Some people might be like, no, I want
Mm-hmm.
to get it all done at once. But I feel
Yep.
like that makes it feel a bit less intimidating of
Yeah.
just addressing things at certain times and feeling like it doesn't have to be all at once. And it, like we tell our clients in health, right? Doesn't have to
Mm-hmm.
be all or nothing. You can
Yeah.
focus on different things at different times. But in terms of clothes and the decluttering part, I really, really like that because I think social media, not I think, I know social media has made shopping habits probably worse for most people because
Mm-hmm.
there's so many trends. You see everything, you want it, you can buy it so easily. And so I really love your take on okay, if I'm going to buy something, I have to get rid of something. So first it makes you really audit, okay, do I actually want this that bad that I'm willing to get rid of something that I already have in my closet? And
Yeah.
so it really just yeah, forces you to take a second, chill, don't buy it right away because we know it's so easy to just you can buy anything at the click of a button now. And then the hanger trick is so clever because I know there's
Mm-hmm.
always that tip of if you haven't worn this in X amount of time, donate it. I can't remember half the time of when I wore it though, right? It's like, wait, did I wear
Yeah.
this? And then I can convince myself that I did actually wear it more recent than I did. So the hanger trick really puts a visual to it of, no, you
Hmm.
actually have not worn this in forever. And this proves it. And then you're like, oh, darn it, I have to get rid of it now.
Yeah, it gives yourself a rule and you can't like trick yourself into, oh, maybe someday. It's like, bitch, no.
I know. Oh, that
It's
is
not going
the
to be someday.
I think it's the lie we all tell ourselves of what if I have
um,
this one really specific scenario that this works for? It's like,
yeah.
well, okay, then if you do, you'll figure it out.
Yeah. And especially you're going to be like, you're going to roll your eyes at this, but the older I get, there are less
Oh.
opportunities I have to wear certain things.
No, that's real though. And I mean, especially I feel like weddings are a great way to wear a ton of fun clothes and as we get older, it's probably just going to be we're getting past the stage of a lot of people we know getting married if they're already married.
Hmm. So, and mom has helped me find better places to donate things. Other, not that there's anything wrong with Goodwill,
But it doesn't get
but
utilized that well. I've heard like a lot of it ends up in a landfill,
yeah,
I think.
yeah. So I know that I've gone like I've shopped at Goodwill, so
Mhm.
I've tried to find places where I understand where it goes because I don't understand Goodwill that well, and maybe shame on
Yeah.
me. But mom, there is a so I donate a lot to our cousins.
Yes. Oh
Donate,
my gosh. We've done that
especially
forever.
especially the professional clothes, like the this might sound bad, but the stuff that is a bit nicer, I let my cousins go through first. I'm like, do
That's
you have
no, it's still
anything that
getting
you could use
used.
for FFA speeches, whatever, like especially the professional dress stuff.
Mhm.
But then mom found there's like it's not a home, but it's like a girls and teenager program in
Like a
Altoona.
shelter kind of ish.
Kind of like a shelter, yeah, where girls will go there if they need help or after school and then they get the clothes. So there are like cool programs like that where these young kids or young adults that just need some help. And if you
Mhm.
have clothes that there are sometimes clothes just need to be thrown away.
Yeah,
Like my
there's
white
some
tank
that are
tops that are snagged and have like sweat stains,
no
like
salvaging.
that's just insulting.
I
But
know. It's like, dude, does anyone want to buy this for $1 at
but
Goodwill?
yeah, it's like, okay, it's like time to give this to someone else. It might change their life, it might not, but at least it's being utilized and not wasted. So that's another thing
Mhm.
of like spring cleaning is just
Yeah.
a time to reconcile your wastefulness.
No, but seriously, and I know Earth Day. Well, it's Earth Month. Is Earth Month a thing, or is it just Earth Day?
I I should know that. I
I know.
think
That's why I asked that, and I was like, is that
yeah,
embarrassing to ask?
the whole month of April, just in general, I feel like is heavily focused on sustainability and
Mhm.
sustainable practices, just like March is really focused on agriculture. So I think, yeah, use April as a good inspiration to just look at like your life from that perspective.
Yeah. And also,
So
what helps too is if you move a couple times, and I think that's really helped Ruben and I just audit what do we need, what do we don't need. And
yeah.
that's where, in terms of decluttering, I feel like we don't necessarily need to do that every year just because it's happened so often. But I definitely could do a little bit more of deep cleaning. But actually, something that we did a couple months ago, and I'm looking at our audience responses because we asked y'all, okay, what do you
Hmm.
do for spring cleaning? Or, is it something you participate in? And I would say it was kind of like a 2/3 to a third that voted, okay, we do spring cleaning, which I was surprised about, just maybe because it's not something I do. But a lot of people said, okay, yeah, like we do a lot of donating, like you said. Of course, we do a lot of deep cleans, windows, appliances. Someone said we love a closet cleanse. Our mom said she cleans up her garden. Hey, mom, I know you're probably listening right now. And also, there were a few that said hiring, or actually, just one person said hiring someone. But
Oh,
that's something Ruben and I
listen.
did only about a
Yeah.
month or two after moving into our townhouse because it's newer, which is like, oh, it's clean, but it was very quickly built and they did not really care about cleaning it up once they finished. And there's just dust in a lot of places. So hiring someone was really, really helpful and totally worth the money if you can spend that. Because this woman said, I'm a
Hmm.
busy mom, farmer wife, and to me, it's worth every pennies. So it's like buying your time back with that is also another option.
Yeah. Because she's probably, let's talk about another area like cleaning the microwave,
Yeah,
washing
the
the
little things.
freezer, the
The
fridge.
dryer,
Yeah. Cleaning the dryer vent. Like,
which
there
I've
are
never
people.
done. That's terrible.
See,
Like the
that's why
deep,
this
deep
is,
clean.
yeah. That's the kind of stuff that you just literally like build a checklist and have printed out every year. Um,
Being an adult, man.
But I love I listen. And plus what's really nice is that there are a lot of local cleaning services and cleaning groups or cleaning teams that it's just like a really nice way to support probably a locally or independently owned business in your area.
Yeah.
Same with landscaping, though landscaping is probably a lot more expensive than
Yeah.
having a lady come in and deep clean your kitchen. Like, who remembers to clean the toaster? Not me.
No, I shake it out every now and then. Like put it over the dumpster and I'm just like, "Duh-duh-duh-duh-duh," and I shake it out because it smells a little burnt that day. But that's my extent of deep cleaning. So maybe Ruben and I need to inspire
Oh.
each other on this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the audience responses kind of really relate to a lot of what you said. And someone else made a good point of they'll make a big list of just things that they don't necessarily need and they will list it in like a group that they're in to people who could then buy it for people who would actually utilize it. So yeah, just trying to give all your items a second chance is
Hmm.
I think really beneficial. And it's like recycling, right? Upcycling it. Or if you're a thrifter, which I am not, I love seeing people buy old things and
Yeah.
make it new. So
Yeah.
cool.
Well, and I mean, I think another thing, Emmy, is like, sure, spring cleaning is a good time to audit, but this is the kind of stuff that also, how could you maybe keep up with it better throughout the
Mm,
year?
yeah.
Um, and I'm curious how, like, you've split chores or split stuff between you and
Mm-hmm.
roommates or you and Ruben.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think,
Yeah. So
that's an interesting dynamic that's related to spring cleaning. It's like, yes, spring cleaning is a good time to audit, but how do you maintain it? Like, how do you maintain the work you've done before? And especially if you're living with someone else, that
mm-hmm.
can be the weirdest conversation
I know. And
on
that's the thing.
chores.
It is.
It's
People
like,
can get
hey,
so like personal about it.
yeah, like, why do you hate me? You didn't change the toilet paper roll.
Like, why are you a dirt ball? And it's like, no, that's not how we're going to go about this. But I think for us growing up with siblings, I think allowed us to just see that like it is a shared thing. It is a shared
Hmm.
chore that we're all going to participate in. And I'm not saying we all wanted to. We were told we had to do these things, but it helped. And I feel like that set us up with some habits of cleaning and just sharing that responsibility. And I don't really remember how it was all delegated for us, but I just know it was like, okay, I feel like we spent maybe one day a week, or it was like, okay, this is the cleaning day. And we all kind of work together to get it done. But as
Hmm.
an adult, obviously, you don't have someone telling you what to do. So you can be as dirty or as clean as you would like. But I feel like in college, I don't know, I feel like there was never any drastic kind of takes on it. And I feel like we all just kind of kept our spaces tidy. But then now, as I'm with my current roommate, Ruben, and I've been with him, what we've been
my
roomies for,
my current roommate, my
my
husband.
husband, we've been roommates. We've been together for a long time, but we've been roommates. What? We're talking to you said roomies, so I'm
I
just
know,
going with the route.
it's just funny. Think
We've
Ruben the
known each other
roommate,
too long at this point.
Roomy Ruben.
Roomie Ruben. It's his birthday. I shouldn't talk about him like this. But yes, my husband and my roommate. Uh, so our I don't want to say our situation is that different, but he travels a lot for work, and so he's really just not home a lot. And so
Yeah.
I would say kind of like the day to day task I will do because I'm here mostly, and I'm kind of the one even creating those messes. So um, I don't, yeah, that I guess that's how we would split it up then. But when Ruben's back, he'll do dishes or trash or anything like that. But I feel like vacuuming, I know I'm the vacuum girl. That is something that I typically end up doing. I guess I just don't have the tolerance for dog hair as much as he does, I guess. And I just can't let it sit around. And I don't want to put a stereotype out on men or just group everyone in one little box, but I feel like women are much more detail oriented. And
Oh
again, I
yeah.
know there are certain guys out there that probably are much more organized than their partner, but I just feel like there's a threshold of what they don't care about, and they just don't care
Yeah.
about little things of like wiping the counter or just no, he wipes the counter. That's rude. But like just seeing little things, and it's like, no,
Yeah.
I can't see that. I have to clean this. So
Yeah.
as you are more type A, probably have a more organized list and how you guys split these chores. I'd be curious on your take for splitting the
Yeah.
duties.
You know, whether the stereotypes are built on nature or nurture or a bit of both,
It's
they're
real.
there. They're there,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so it's because it's what we've experienced and it's what we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Joey and I will joke, and my God, don't come at me, internet, for all the millions of people that listen to us, but we call them
Yes.
boy jobs and girl jobs because it's funny and it's not meant to be like a gender thing.
Yeah, you're not,
It's
you
just
guys,
funny.
you're very
It's
modern. You're very, up to date on
We're
things.
progressive, but we still have
Yes.
boy jobs and girl jobs, okay?
It's fun.
And it's just so I remember this started really in college. I don't really remember it. I was trying to think of it.
Yeah, I
I
was like,
feel like
we kept our things clean, I think,
I feel like it was very individual, right? We kept our own things clean. And
Mm-hmm.
then whenever I moved in with Chitty, we literally had like a chart because her and I were both type A of whose turn it was to buy soap and toilet paper, whose turn it was to mow the lawn, whose turn it was to do XYZ things. Because I think we recognize that, like, we're newly friends. So this is weird for us to have to, like, figure this out.
Yeah,
Just,
it could
oh,
go downhill
well,
quick.
it could go downhill quick. So we just had a chart. And,
Yeah, that's smart.
so that kind of set the stage for whenever Joe and I moved in together and figured out, like, how are we going to manage this? We literally I said, hey, can we just sit down and talk about what each of us is going to do? Like,
Mm-hmm.
with unspoken just knowledge, there will be some things that we have to do together or split,
Yeah.
but like, I know that cooking is something that I love to do. So I'm going to be the cooking and the grocery planner and the
Oh,
cleaner,
I do
right?
that. I guess we're talking like I'm definitely the cooking grocery
Yeah.
person.
So those are things that, like, honestly, that just brings like release. I'm
Yeah.
like, I like doing this. And then also the laundry, only because like girls' clothes, he ruined a silk skirt once for me. So I'm like, I'm doing the laundry.
Yeah.
I'm doing the laundry. He's
We have
like, well,
separate baskets for that.
well, and it's just you know what? Maybe someday, I'm sure when we have kids, it will be different. But at this point, I do the laundry
Yeah.
because women's clothes are finicky, is what
Again, we're
I'll
more
say.
specific about
Yeah.
things.
I have a very specific way I like to do it. And then his boy jobs are things like changing light bulbs,
Mowing the
cleaning
lawn.
vents. Yeah. Our fan's really dusty, so he's going to take apart our fan and clean it. Or
So
all the
fun.
the boxes, breaking them down, carrying them over because we have to walk down a big flight of stairs. Same with the
Mm,
trash. And it's just those kinds of things that if I see the trash is full because I've made it full, I'll be like, Joe, can you come change the trash? And it's not like I'm barking an order thing. It's because we've built
yeah.
this. What works for us is we've built an understanding. Now, when he's not home, I do my very best to not fill the trash until he is home. So I don't have to change
That's
it.
hilarious. Also,
It's
that's
like,
malicious.
I was like, oh, I waited until you were home. Now it's full. Please change it.
That's rude.
Um, but no, it's like, okay, if he's not home, I'll do the boy jobs. If
Yeah.
I'm not home for long enough, he'll do the girl jobs that he absolutely has to do. But yeah, it's just honestly, I feel like if you don't put limits on it, then it's like you're inevitably going to get in an argument or you're going to be mad at each other. You don't do the
Hmm.
dishes enough when it's like they're probably doing a lot of other things
Yeah.
for you.
And if you
It's
don't
just
create a
having an
list,
understanding.
yeah, because it is, I think we all think we always do more than everyone else, right? Like we're always,
Yeah.
we only know what we know. We don't know what anyone else knows or what they do or even how they think. So creating a list and just having the conversation about it can just lay it all out there and make sure that there's that the spoken rule rather than just assuming that there's this unspoken rule and then
Yeah.
continuously feeling like you have to quote unquote, like nag on each other, because I feel like that's how so many couples talk about chores with each other. Like, she's nagging me to do this, he's nagging me to do that. But if you have the conversation, it's like, no, we're not nagging, because it's both of our jobs and we both
Yeah.
just have delegated tasks. And actually, as we're recording this, I feel like I can hear Ruben unloading the
I know.
dishwasher.
I
So
heard the
you
dishes. I
heard
was
it?
like, yeah, I did hear I heard the little clink, clink, clink.
This mic is great. It really picks up everything, because he's downstairs right now in the kitchen. And so shout out to Ruben doing the dishes.
Yeah.
We do need to actually deep clean though, other than just
Yeah.
the dishes.
What I like about, and I think this and what we talked about with spring cleaning is just like ease of mind too, which I think
Yeah.
goes nicely into if you could share what our audience has said about like the decluttering the mind space. So there's your
Yeah.
physical space and there's establishing some boundaries in your home to
Yep.
like maintain that. So I guess how do you or how does our audience spring clean their habits and their mindset, which I'm super
Yeah.
curious to hear.
Yeah. And that's where I wanted to touch on this side of things, just because, again, I don't maybe do the typical deep clean of the house, which maybe I should. Obviously, if people are listening, like, you're a dirtball, that's fine, whatever. And I live in Florida, so it's hot year round. I can spring clean anytime I want. But so when I think of spring cleaning, and especially since I'm in the health and fitness space as a coach, but as someone who focuses in on myself, when we start to kind of get past those first couple months of the year, I think once we get into spring and get into April, even, because we're past the first quarter, I think it's such a great time to refocus on what am I doing for myself, for my health, and
Yeah.
physically and mentally, and kind of spring cleaning your habits. Because we all set these really amazing goals at the beginning of the year, which I think is fantastic. I think it's great to set some intentions and goals for the year. But once we're a few months in and maybe we're out of that winter rut, now in the springtime is kind of a great time to, again, check in back with yourself and really just evaluate, okay, how am I treating myself? What are my goals? How am I keeping up with my habits? And then how is this impacting me and how I feel? And for
Yeah.
me, and again, we were both saying we're all busy all the time. I know that. But I just feel like the first couple months really have just been full of a really crazy
Yeah.
amount of travel. And so for me, I have not been as on top of my habits. And when I'm not on top of my habits, it does impact my mindset. And so I feel like habits, mindset, routines, how you're taking care of yourself, they really intertwine. And that's where it is so important to recognize, okay, if I'm not feeling my best right now, how am I showing up for myself versus how am I not? And so for me, this is where I'm like, I got to call myself out. I got to call my shit out. And now April's a little more sane. And I think May too, aside from the wedding, bachelorette, all the fun stuff for you, like, we're just going to be home a little bit more. And so I
Mm-hmm.
probably do need to do a literal deep cleaning for spring cleaning. But now I can also really spring clean my habits. And for me, that's recognizing I want to get more consistent back in the gym, just more
Mm-hmm.
consistent training. I want to add some runs in. I keep saying that, but I do mean I'm probably not going to like run a marathon or anything cool like that. But the workouts, and I wrote it down because I need to write this down or else I'll forget, right? And nutrition, eating out less. I want to get back into meal prepping a bit more consistently and just eating out less. All foods fit, but we've just been giving ourselves a little bit too much flexibility with that. And also where I really need to check myself, and also I know drastically impacts how I feel about myself, is not hitting the snooze button. And I feel like we've talked about that a couple times
Yeah. And I
on
told you not to talk to me about it because I'm a team snoozer.
yeah, but that is something that just falls in the category of like keeping promises to myself versus not. And that's where I think it really comes into play of evaluating your habits and your routines,
Yeah.
because ultimately it comes down to the promises you're keeping for yourself or not, which may seem really small and insignificant at the time, but can drastically impact how you feel about yourself. So for me, if I hit the snooze button continuously, first, I'm getting a late start to my day, later than what I wanted. I'm probably not going to get in as much as I plan to do. And then automatically, I'm just like, wow, I feel like not great today. I don't feel as confident.
Yeah.
I'm down on myself versus if I wake up, don't hit the snooze, get up right away, just start my day. I just feel I'm starting my day with keeping a promise to myself. And it impacts my confidence in a really amazing way. So that's kind of where
Yeah.
I'm at on just auditing myself and spring cleaning my own good or bad habits.
Yeah. And I like that because, it's a way for you to recognize if, okay, do I need to change something, or do I, so for example, for us for eating, it was okay, we need to get back into buying, we were meal prepping for a bit and then we were
Mm-hmm.
traveling, and it's like, okay, we've got to start buying Factor and Home Chef again,
Yeah.
to because that's the food we buy. It's like it forces us to eat the healthy meals that we
Yeah.
selected, or the pre-portioned meals that we selected. And then for workouts, getting closer to the wedding, which thank God for this wedding, because it has gotten me out of my COVID rut
Right.
and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like great again.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but I I'm not a gym girly like you. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Everyone
And
has their
at
own
this
form of
point,
movement they enjoy.
I go through phases. Sometimes I'm a gym
Yeah.
girly. At this point, I'm not. So I've been scheduling. I'm not good at waking up early. So there are some spin classes that are at 6:15, which is like the perfect early for
Yeah, it's
me.
not like you don't have to get up at 4 a.m. for this class.
Yeah, so it's okay. We're ordering these meal prep kits again. We're booking classes that are at 6:15 because it forces me to be up, and then that forces me into a better morning routine. So, like you're saying, doing those audits of, okay, what am I sucking at right now, and what can I like put into my schedule that forces me to be better at it, not just I don't, beyond just my own discipline and motivation, which sometimes is just lacking. So there's that. And then I think another place where I like to audit is at work. And it's like,
Mm.
okay, it's been nuts.
Yeah.
Just blocking a day, or blocking 2 hours on my calendar to say, okay, what do I got to do? I've got to deep clean my email inbox. And it is just deleting or sorting emails,
Ooh, I need to do that.
It is, and it's just, I have my filing system that worked at one point. So let's just, if I need to be better at being consistent about it, but like periodically just putting 2 hours on my calendar to deep clean my email inbox, or my direct report, shout out Yvonne and I, since having someone on my team and being a leader now has made me more accountable to project planning, and like finding a method and actually sticking to it, because she's sticking to it. And so it's going through and auditing our project list, checking our
Mm-hmm.
project list against our goals, right? So it's like you can apply this idea of auditing yourself to literally anything. you could
Yeah.
you could do it to your car, like, I don't
Yeah.
know,
How?
clean out your car, right?
Well, I did, and I just got an oil change on it too because I realized I needed to get something done on that. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's being honest with yourself, which I know can be uncomfy. And actually, like in the
Yeah.
episode we had last week with Erica, it's just your mind space and the foundation you're setting for yourself, whether you realize it or not,
Hmm.
impacts every other area of your life.
Yeah.
And I think actually a few of the responses from our audience, because we asked, like, how do you declutter, quote unquote, your mind? And a couple of
Hmm.
them were about, okay, brain dumping. So writing everything out and being just able to, really audit yourself of what needs done. And a few people said as well, clean space equals kind of a cleaner mind and a clear thinking. So I feel like these two really tie in together well of
Hmm.
obviously everyone has their own form of organization, but when you are organizing things in a way that allows you to not have to think about it all the time, it can
Hmm.
lead to just like, yeah, a decluttered mind space. And
Hmm.
then in terms of habits, of just asking the audience, okay, like what would you like to focus on more consistently? And I'm so glad we got responses because it is sometimes uncomfy to call yourself out on what's going well or what's not going well, but a lot of it came down to like maybe getting outside more or being more consistent with just overall routines, and a lot of it came down to nutrition as well and
Mm.
just wanting to eat more protein. There was one of getting up earlier to make breakfast, and I love that there are more ladies that are willing
Yeah.
to, yeah, audit themselves and ask, where could I be better serving myself? And I think it's important to say as well, like as you go through this whole spring cleaning of your mind, your habits, your house, whatever it is, it's okay if you have to audit and change and modify your expectations and also your
Hmm.
habits and your goals. And I think sometimes our ego gets in the way of, well, I'm just going to pretend that I'm doing okay with this because I don't want to say that I'm not. But it's okay if you have to shift your workout schedule, or like you said, Beck, you were meal prepping, but now you recognize, okay, that was great. I need some outside help. Like I'm gonna outsource this. I'm gonna bring in something else. So it's okay if your approach has to look a little bit different. If you can do more, great. If you have to do less, that's okay. Everything is in
Yeah.
seasons and everything's going to have phases. And I think giving ourselves structures, like we talked about through this episode, is helpful, but also being realistic and giving yourself grace can also be very, very helpful too.
Yeah. And I think that we're at a good point in spring where we haven't totally given up on ourselves yet. And
Mm-hmm.
the fun of summer hasn't kicked in, right? So it's like there is still some time to salvage something. And you know what I like to, and I don't know, maybe this, I don't want this to sound like becoming complacent, but I think it's
Mm-hmm.
also a good time to recognize, okay, maybe some of these resolutions or these goals I set don't align with who I truly am as a person. And what I
Mm-hmm.
mean by that, this is a really simple example. I'm not a 5 a.m. morning girl. It's just not
Yeah.
who I am. It's not the way I operate. I'm not happy when I do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I do need to be better in the morning. So it's like, okay, what is the earliest I can wake up without being miserable and thinking about it all day
Yeah.
long, or thinking about it all night before going to bed, which stresses me out more? It's those 6:15 a.m.
Yeah.
classes or those 6:30 a.m. classes, and then that doesn't leave me a lot of time for breakfast, but I know that I have like a Fairlife or a protein
Yeah.
like
Something like
milk
prepped
based
and easy.
shake, right? That like, okay, I'm on my merry way. So it's auditing that. Okay, I think I set my goal a little too early for me to achieve at this point. What can I adjust to meet who I am, but still allows me to be better without like stretching so far that I've just set myself up for disappointment? I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. 3 times a week. Oh, fuck off, Becca. No, you're not.
Probably not.
Right? So it's like I'm not giving up on the goal. I'm just saying, okay, how can I still be better in a more realistic way?
Yeah, no, that's so important because there is a difference between content versus complacent. But we talk to our clients about this all the time of
Yeah.
you have to set realistic expectations for yourself. And that doesn't mean you're not
Yeah.
trying, but it just means, like you said, you kind of have to also meet yourself where you're at. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're working towards something and it's not really working, that's where, again, yeah,
Yeah.
you have to audit. Is it the goal that's maybe just a not something that I'm truly willing to do or work towards yet? And if you're not, okay, then shift it to something else, kind of like you did. Or is it something where you recognize, no, like I really do want to put in the work for this. I really do want to do this. I just need to audit my mindset or
Yeah.
address my schedule so I can show up for this better. Then do that. Like you either have to kind of modify yourself or modify the goal, but there's nothing wrong with that. And I think, yeah, this time of the year, hopefully, yeah, we're all kind of getting out of that rut. We're, getting into the, well, I was going to say warmer months, but I just saw it snowed and rained in a lot of places. But we're soon getting into more of sunshine, all of that. And it can be a great time to just address, yeah, like how am I feeling? If I'm not feeling great, what do I need to do differently? And it doesn't have to be anything big or drastic, just starting with really small changes
Yeah.
and cleaning up your attitude, cleaning up how
Mm-hmm.
you're talking to yourself can just overflow into a really positive way in, so many other areas of life.
Yeah. I love it,
And
Em. And
boom.
I think that one of the things you said is how like social media impacts how we
Mm,
feel about how we are decluttering our space, how are we decluttering our mind, how are we doing on our
everything.
habits, right? So I know that you wanted to talk about like how the social media trend that not everything is real. And so you're better at social media than me. So explain how we're going to dive into this to cap off our episode.
Yeah, so y'all know we always do our weekly hot take or our weekly obsession. And so for the hot take this week, I thought it would be fun. Well, I don't know if I'm going to call it fun. I thought it would be interesting to take on the trend of social media isn't real. Here are some things that I'm struggling with. And I feel like y'all, if you're on social media, whether it's TikTok or Instagram, I've seen it on both now. It's something where people just get very honest about things that they are working through or just, not loving right now because social media, we know, is a highlight reel. And I thought it would be, again, let's say maybe just say relatable or beneficial for us to kind of do our quick little take on this because I like it because no one's doing it in terms of, I don't look at anyone and see it as like, you're just doing this for pity likes, or it's like blah, blah, blah. You know how some people get like that. If you get vulnerable, people act like jerks.
Yeah.
But it's really in the sense of, we all just want to feel less alone. We all just want to feel seen. We all just want to know that, oh, like your life looks perfect on social because that's maybe all I see of you, but you're a real human. And maybe I'm not scum of the earth because other people struggle with this. And so, yeah, for me, obviously it's a little bit different because my business is based off social media, which is a blessing and also sometimes really sucks. Social media has created so many amazing avenues for a lot of people, even like women's sport, right? Like all these
Mm-hmm.
personalities really being able to showcase themselves and create businesses, create brands. But for me, even to just be honest, that business has been really hard this year. And I know on social media, it's really fun to talk about all the good things because there still are so many good things. We have amazing clients, we have an amazing team, everyone is wonderful. But I started online coaching kind of right before COVID, which was unintentionally like prime time of, oh, this really makes sense time wise. But now that we've kind of gone out of that wave, and financially, just economy, everything's a little bit different right now. And I think for a lot of businesses and such, buying habits have just changed. And financially, for a lot of people, things are maybe just looking a little bit harder, a little bit different, which totally understand. But it has made, business and selling and maintaining a business pretty hard the past year or so. And so for me, it just feels like I'm struggling with kind of inspiration, social media, struggling with the feeling like I'm not providing for my team. And it can be really easy to fall into a negative headspace already because it's like, okay, well, we want to keep growing and you just want to be able to maintain what you're doing. But then when you jump on social media, you then start to see everyone else who feels like, well, they're growing their business, they're growing their brand, they're thriving, their job is amazing, their career is amazing. And it just, I feel like it sends you into this spiral. And for me, then sometimes it just feels like I'm so grateful for social media. And I feel like everyone maybe has this thought, but also sometimes I wish it didn't exist because being on social media almost just feels like this constant game to prove that I'm doing good enough. And then
Mm.
it's almost like, I know I'm doing all this because I enjoy it, but are we all doing these things just to prove it to other people that we're doing it? It's such a weird little like space to feel trapped in sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know what? I was thinking about this last night. I think I wrote in here, I don't know.
Yeah, you're not
Because,
alone.
like,
But I feel like this is a
well,
take as well of like, it doesn't just have to be social media, but in life, right? We always put our best selves forward, which is
yeah.
great. I love that. But like, it's very hard for all of us to be vulnerable with other people. So we always want to showcase our best selves to everyone in real life or on social.
Yeah, because when I was just reading what I wrote last night, I was obviously tired. And I was like, you know what? This is hard for me because if, like, the way I use social media is purely a digital highlight reel and
Yeah, it's
photo
like a
album.
photo album.
It's like capturing the reason I use Instagram is to capture and share the best moments with my family and friends for
Hmm.
them to then see and enjoy, right? However, that might translate to, oh, things are always great, right? And I mean, damn, things are pretty good. Like, let's just be
Yeah.
honest. Things
Yeah.
really are. But that's on Instagram. If someone got on my Facebook, they would think I've maybe been abducted because I
Oh, yeah.
have
We're not
not.
big Facebook girlies.
No, I am for work and for Dairy Girl Network, but that's really it, right? So, what I would say is probably something that is not true or like something that's not shown on social media, right? Something that I'm struggling with that I would never put on there is that with this new job, this is the first new job I've had where I've like really made some genuine mistakes. I mean, I'm killing it and I love it and I feel like I'm doing a really really good job, but it is something totally brand new. And for example, like I did not get a timeline right. My type A, I did. There were like two things that I had no idea were going to happen, and I did
Hmm.
not consider. And I put a customer at risk of not having product because of an update we had to make. And when you're talking at the scale that I've messed up at, that's like literally terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I could have potentially lost us a massive chunk of business. Now that's dramatizing the situation. It all worked out. It was all fine. But it's the first time in my professional career where I've like really almost messed up, like genuinely messed up. And I'm not going to put that on social media. I'm going to put the fact that we made bunny milk for Easter on
Yep.
social media, right? Not like, oh, Becca almost just like really effed up. Um, and I don't think anyone on my, like, I never would have gotten to the point of that, but it was just one of those moments of realizing, oh, wow, I've got to check myself a lot in this job and recognize that I've
Mm-hmm.
still got a long ways to go to be where I once was as the expert in my position. So that's something that the world would never know from social media. They would think I am just like perfect at my job,
Yeah.
the way I talk about
You're
myself.
just perfect in general. I'm just perfect always
No,
in
right?
everything.
Yeah, and I'm not. Like I genuinely messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Um and yeah, that's something I'm not going to put on social media because it's none of anybody's business except for who listens to our podcast and my direct supervisor.
Yeah, now anyone who listens to Cowgirl Talk.
But
But
so that's like how I use social media as a quote unquote normal person, right? I'm
mm-hmm.
not a social media personality. I'm not a social media, it's not a job. It's purely enjoyment for me compared to you. So I like that we have these two different perspectives, but you're not going to know when I make a mistake at work or Joey comes out and asks me, serious question. Do you know how to change the toilet paper roll? Because I just kept setting it on top, right? So,
God, Ruben does it sometimes. I'm like,
yeah.
oh.
I'm like, okay, fair. I probably should just take the 2 seconds to put it on because I'd murder you if you did the same. So, but it's like those little real life moments that I'm not going to put on Instagram.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, again, whether it's on Instagram or social media or real life, it's just glimpses you don't see into someone's life. And so it's
Yeah.
so easy to feel like you're not doing enough. And I feel like, just to wrap that up, I feel like the consensus of this trend and what we're all just realizing we feel is we always just want to assume that everyone has it figured out. Everyone else has it figured out. We want to assume everyone else is doing better than us because sometimes it just allows us to like wallow and just feel like, fall into our self pity sometimes of,
Yeah.
well, no one else messes up. I'm just a loser. And sometimes that allows us to keep playing small. But what I've seen really with this trend again is that so many of us feel the same, is that a lot of us mess up in our jobs. A lot of us mess up in our careers, our relationships, our families. We are all literally just winging it. We are all
Yeah.
figuring this out for the first time together. And so I think that's something so important to take away from it, is that literally always everyone always feels like, what are we doing? And maybe there's some people that feel a bit more confident, but we're all really just, figuring out life together, and we all mess up along the way. But also I
Hmm.
think sometimes that, especially with social media, it's very normal to sometimes not feel good enough or to feel like we're not doing enough. And
Yeah.
feeling inadequate is something that sucks, but I think it's something that we all struggle with sometimes. And so it's just so important, I think, for this trend to recognize, yeah, we're not alone with this, because it is easy to assume that everyone else just has it figured out, and then it makes us feel so lame when we don't. But
Hmm.
we're all within the same boat. We all just have someone in our lives who doesn't correctly change the toilet paper, you know?
Or they go under instead of over. And if you go under, shame
Mm,
on you.
I know I'm an over person, so sorry for the unders, but you're wrong.
Yeah. Oh my God, you are so wrong, Unders. Reconcile and audit that shit.
The down unders. It sounds like we're talking about someone from Australia. That was pretty good, if I do say so myself.
That was excellent.
Well, now we have to wrap it up because that was weird, embarrassing. But no, I enjoyed getting to talk about this episode because it just, or talking about this topic in this episode, because it really
Yeah.
encourages you to just audit so many different areas of your life. And if y'all have different takes on spring cleaning, or how you address spring cleaning, how you split up chores, if there are certain ways that you really declutter your mind, address your habits, we would love to hear them. Of course, always share your comments, your ideas with us on social media, wherever you want to find us. And on social media, you can, of course, always find us at All of the Cowgirl Talk, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And as always, if you enjoyed the episode, the show, we do truly appreciate the support. This is really just a awesome and fun way for Becca and I to even get to catch up and have conversations like this. And we really do hope y'all take something away from these as well and enjoy them. And if you do, please subscribe, like, comment, share, whatever it is that you do with all the podcasts and social media things. And again, we really appreciate hearing from y'all and any ideas that you ever may have.
Yeah. And as always, have a great day, cowgirls. Bye.
Bye.